So, welcome to Elite HGR, where it's happening. We're gonna make some African dishes this afternoon. I'm gonna start by making the jollof rice. There have been so many versions of it, but all we have to do for the jollof rice, I'm gonna be using a 12-inch electric skillet. So I'll put it on to 230 degrees centigrade, and that's the highest. So just to make sure it's hot enough for me to start, there's a drop of water into it, and it bubbles around. So it tells you that it's ready to be used. And the amazing thing about this electric skillet is that it's a mini kitchen on its own. You can fry, you can roast, you can bake. And on a good day that is nice and sunny, you can put it in the garden and just make it as your barbecue. So, the jollof rice, Nigerian way. I'm going to add my onions, which I have already diced. And there's nothing I cook without the ginger. I'm cheating now. I'm using the frozen, which has melted now, ginger. So, and the good thing about this electric skillet is that it's got a setting on it. And this is my blended pepper. I've got tomatoes, I've got red scotch bonnet, and I've got onions in it as well. And it's all blended together. And oops, sorry. And then this is my rice already washed, and this is 3 cups of rice. This is enough to feed about 6 people. So even if you think, oh, you eat a lot in the house, this is just enough, because you don't want to cook and you have leftover. So, and this is my chicken broth. When I boil my chicken, I just put the water, take the fat out, and that's what I've done. And I'm gonna be adding some bay leaves as well, just to give you. One thing about jollof rice is it has to be nice and tasty. So all I'm doing now, I'm adding Maggi, is optional, and tomato puree, because the thing about jollof rice is it has to have this nice red color, so I'm just adding that to it. And in addition to that, I'm going to add just a bit of thyme. It's optional. If you're the type that don't do spices, you don't have to put it. And then put a bit of curry into it. So, you see, it's so easy to use, and you have to honestly desire or invest. Not just desire is not enough. Invest in one of these. And I'm going to just pour water. Well, I don't measure my water, but the good way to know enough water that you add to it, as long as the rice is covered up with water, I'm using hot water. It doesn't really matter, but I just like to make it come up. I'm going to add just a little bit of more water to it. So I've used about 500 ml of water for those people that want to measure. So I'm adding more to it, and that's it. And salt is optional, but if you're the type that must have salt in your food, I'm just going to put some Himalaya salt into it, just a bit, and that will do. So that's our jollof rice. We're going to set it. We go back to our setting. I turn it back off because I need the rice to cook it. Rice stew for the jollof rice. So rice 1, second one, rice 2, and that's it. I'm just going to place the lid on, and we come back to that when it's fully cooked. There's no pot watching, and it's a closed circuit system. So next here, I've put some water in this church pan, which is boiling now, and all I've done is I've cut my yam. We're going to be making some pounded yam with a 4 egusi later, so that is already cooked. Next year we're going to be making moin-moin. Moin-moin is made of beans, and this is what I've done here. I've blended my beans. Normally you take the skin of the beans, and once you have done that, before you do, well, the beans is hard. You soak the beans for about 5 minutes and you just peel it off. You can put it in your blender just on a pulse and it takes the skin off and you sift it out. So this is what I've done. I've sifted the skin off it and blended it smoothly. I've added some onions when I was blending it and a bit of chili as well. So this is our moin-moin here. So what I'm going to be adding, because normally in Nigeria you use a lot of either palm oil or vegetable, but today is Saladmaster. We're not going to be using any of that. So I'm just going to add my chicken broth. Again, I love chicken broth. This is my natural one that there are no preservatives and all that. And chopped onions. Something about beans is onions actually enhances the taste. So this is and then, like I said to you, Maggi is optional. This one I'm just going to use one Maggi. And then this is crayfish, stockfish dry one. It brings a nice smell to your moin-moin. And all I do is I just have to stir it properly. And this fresh egg is optional, but for me, if you're looking to have a very high protein diet, this is my way of adding egg to it. So I just mix it so well, and you can see the consistency is quite thick. I need to add a bit of water to it. And the issue of salt here, I added a small Maggi, but you want to put a bit of more salt into this. So I'm just going to add, add some salt into it. Did I open it? No, I did. So I'm the sauce is very tiny, so it won't be too much anyway. So the option, you can add some puree to it. It's your choice. But I've just used all my puree now. Maybe I can squeeze some out of it. I didn't bring enough puree because you want it to be a bit, kind of colorful as well. Yeah, something is coming out. Oh, great. Waste not. So I'm just going to stir it nicely and some hot water to it. Normally, moin-moin, you have to add hot water to it. And because Saladmaster has made life so easy, if you're thinking in terms of your time in the kitchen, honestly, this is it. Because if you were to make moin-moin, normally, it takes you about 2 hours to make it before you wrap it individually, before you mix it and all that. And you see, this is a nice consistency. So in my 12-inch skillet. So normally we wrap this individually, but today, thanks to Saladmaster, I'm just gonna, there's no oil, nothing in the pan. I've put my leaf in there, and rather than wrapping it individually, you see, when you're talking of time in the kitchen, honestly, there's nothing that can be as good as this. It's so easy, and it's an investment, but honestly, it's worth it. Because when you think about all the impurities that go into your food, you want to stay away and just get Saladmaster. And this is my fish. Sometimes I mix it before I pour it in, but it doesn't matter. I love mackerel. This is smoked mackerel. I love it. If I make my egusi and all of that, I use that in it. And another thing I'm going to be adding to that is my egg. You think egg again? Well, you just make it nice and so beautiful to see, and tasty as well. So, and we're just gonna put this on a very low heat, and in another 15-20 minutes it should be cooked. So that is moin-moin for you. And finally, while you're wondering why I'm using the leaf, moin-moin with leaves, it gives it some nice traditional taste, and that is what we're doing here. So that's how we have to do it. Okay, and I just put a little bit of water at the bottom of the leaf just to make it simmer. and that's it. So that's a moin-moin. Thank you. Again, we're using our 11-inch skillet on the. Ooh, look at that! It's bubbling around. So this chicken we're going to be frying with that oil. In Saladmaster, we would rather take the oil out rather than add oil in. For people that love frying chicken, this is the way you can do it. Okay, so it doesn't matter if it's frozen. This is half frozen. So I'm just going to cover it slightly to fry, but if I were to roast it, I would cover it completely. So just to, because I'm frying it, it's just slightly open. So I've turned the hob to 7 just to keep it. And this is our yam. It's almost cooked now. We're going to be making pounded yam, but we'll leave it till later when the vegetable is almost ready. And this is the moin-moin that is going. The jollof rice. Let's see, we've only got a few minutes left for the jollof rice. Let's see. Ta-da! Isn't that beautiful?
That's lovely.
You just wait until it's completely done. It's lovely. So what we're going to be doing now is to pound it into pounded yam. I'm going to take the skin off.
So if you are going to eat it actually, what would you do?
If I'm going to eat it, all I'm going to do is get the skin off it.
You don't have to. Yeah, that's
okay, so you can see it's so beautiful. So what have we done? Saladmaster have kept all the 93% of the nutrients in the yam, because as it is said, anything that is grown underground, the vitamins and nutrients are just under the skin. And what we normally do is peel the yam and the goodness of that yam away.
So this is the skin that has come off, and this is the yam. So that's also a way that you save money on your food, because you are not throwing away yam.
So I'm just going to peel all the skin off, and then we can pound it. Look, you can see the oil. Can you see? I'm going to put in the glass later. So I'm just going to turn the chicken for another 7 minutes. Nicely fried. Very crispy chicken we're doing here this afternoon. And it's not just the electric skillet that can do the fry with that. Any of Saladmaster cookware can fry. So I'm just going to leave it for another 7 minutes. Okay, and my tissue goes on the side because we're frying. So next thing for the pounded yam now. We have peeled the skin from the yam, and it's still nice and hot. And I'm going to be using the world food processor. It's a kitchen equipment that every home should have. There are 5 cones. I'm using the baby teeth, the smallest teeth. And this is what I have to do. But really, what I've done before, I use the MP5. When the yam is boiled, I'll just say. So all I'm trying to do is make it into very fine sizes. And then we now spoon it together. It's hot because we just boiled the yam. So you see, there's no way you would not have Saladmaster cooking system in your household. And you know what? You can have this free. It's easy to use and it's free. All you need to do is get on the Saladmaster train, giving us referrals, and you even investing in it. That's the most important. And then the rest will be history. And you will that's something you will never regret, because all this equipment, cooking system here, are life It's got life warranty in it. You don't ever need to buy another cookware in your life. The amazing thing about this wonderful cooking system is that, look, we still have some starch at the bottom of the water, which I'm going to throw out now, okay, because we don't need that anymore. So with the starch, the yam, so now we have to pound it. Yeah.
And the food processor has done the first stage of pounding, because when you pound, the first thing that happens is that you break it up into small pieces, and then you've got to then pound it together. So over to you, Auntie Shade. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just trying not to waste anything, you know. In Saladmaster, we don't waste food. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just pour this in. This is our second stage of pounded yam. And I'm going to add a bit of hot water. Because with yam, when you pound it together, you need water in it.
The kettle is boiled.
The kettle is boiled. So, let's see. I'm just going to add water bit by bit. Because I don't want it to be too much. So that it's not too soft.
Do you want the yam, heat under the yam maybe?
Yes.
About two.
So I'm just going to add this bit of water for now. And now, okay, let's do the real job now. I can't wait for the egusi to start. I'm going to add a bit of more water to it. So this is all you have to do because that's what you do at home. And you know the great thing about this cooking system is that you take away all these preservatives from your food. Because yes, we eat pando yam. Do you know what they've mixed in that pando yam? Definitely is not yam. So think again if you think you're actually eating pounded yam. So you can see. Who says you can't do pounded yam? That is even amazing. The word processor is like a super.
Wow, look at that.
Look at that.
Look at that.
This is pounded yam for you. Oh
wow.
And you see, you always eat your food fresh. Let me put a bit of more water.
Wow.
So you see, oh wow, this is now it.
That is pounded yam.
This is poundo, not pando yam, pounded yam, the real pounded yam. The real McCoy. So you see,
the real deal.
It's so amazing. It's simply amazing. It's ready now. So all I'm going to do is, normally we portion it into clean food until we're ready to eat. I'm just going to put this. So,
yeah. Good portion. Yeah.
And then, so this is just the melon seed, called egusi,
with some capsicum peppers and some onion, and I'm using a blender for that because we don't have
lovely vibrant color as well.
Yes,
nice.
That's it's from the pepper. I will know it's ready when I see movements in the middle. Okay, now I'm going to put in some crayfish. So little dry shrimps or crayfish in there. That's actually one of the things, even Africans who consider themselves vegetarians will eat crayfish because it gives flavor.
Yeah.
Okay. Now it's ready. Okay, so the egusi is ready for use.
Okay, now our chicken is ready. See, it's nicely done. So I'm just gonna take the chicken out. Remember, it was semi-frozen, so that takes the pain off of having to defrost before you cook. You just put everything together. All the oil that is coming out
that's a lot.
from it, that's a lot of oil. So you can imagine if you were to fry your chicken, you would add oil, but in Saladmaster we've taken out the excess.
For the we call it a soup because that's what we generally call what we eat with this sort of food. I'm going to make egusi soup. This is so nice and ready to serve. So this is heating up now. When it is hot, I'll pour in my melon seed and leave that to fluff up.
So I'm just trying to, like we fried the chicken earlier. We didn't put any spice or onions at all. Just to tell you that, chicken, when you taste real chicken, it's nice. But for me, I just love to have a bit of spice on it, onions. So this is all I'm just doing. I'm just going to let it simmer for about 2 minutes, and then it'll be ready to eat. The chicken is already fried like I showed you before. And back to our moin-moin. It's been ready, but because we've been busy. So you can see I'm taking the leaves off. Wow, look at that. Look at the moin-moin.
A steamed bean pudding.
It's so nice.
Savoury bean pudding.
And when you put your knife in it and it comes clean, that means it's cooked. So that's a moin-moin for you. So you really need to come to Saladmaster family. It's the best thing in the world.
Melon seeds. It's very hot. There we are. I'm still used to the old way of doing this where it splatters. So I always cover it over. Okay, so that's just their cooking now. Melon seeds themselves have their own natural oils, so there is no need to use any oil to cook it. Traditionally, some people use palm oil, but today we're not using anything. I've just put some liquid in here to rinse out the bits that were in my bullet. Yeah. And you cover and just let that cook for about 5 minutes.
Electric skillet has turned itself to 605 to warm. So all I'm going to do is see what our rice has done.
African food.
This is jollof rice for you. Oh wow, that is amazing. So it's ready to serve, and the good thing about it is if you're not ready to eat for another 45 minutes, you don't have to worry. Food will still warm.
It's been keeping itself
on 65, yeah. So it's on warm. So I'm just making sure my onions are all around, and this is ready to eat. So you're gonna join us for lunch.
And now this is ready to eat washed spinach. I'm just gonna throw that in. You can put in as much as you want. I like mine with lots of vegetables. So in that sort of quantity, I will be using 2 bags full. Just pressing it in. I prefer fresh to frozen.
Okay, because it's a little around.
Yeah. I'm going to just cover that and let it sweat down, and then I'll stir it in and put in a stock cube, and that should be ready. So again, back down to the issue of waterless cooking. We're basically letting our food cook in its own juices. No added water there. Yeah. So we let that heat up. It's on a low medium. Here's some fish I fried. It's already cooked, so it does not need cooking. But I don't want the bone in it. This is croaker fish that was fried earlier in our Saladmaster cookware. I've just deboned it with my fingers. Unsophisticated. I'm waiting for this to click. When it clicks, I will stir it up. That's it. Half a stock here, not a whole one. So that's waiting to go in here. So let's mix it in. Some people like their egusi wet, in which case you can add tomato and all that. I like mine with just the juices. That will steam down. What we haven't done today is use a lot of hot pepper. This is if anybody wants to try African recipes, you can do this. You don't always have to have the hot pepper, though we do like pepper.
It's optional.
It's optional. Many people associate it with African food, and they are right.
Yeah. But
it is optional. It's something that you put in according to your preference. But what I want you to see is how much the 2 bags of spinach has gone in there. So when you eat, right, you eat a lot more in terms of vegetables than you may think yourself capable of. And as we know, vegetables are nature's store in terms of the nutrients that we need. So this is it, and I will just leave this covered now for 10 minutes. And it should be ready.
I'm just adding some onions to my fried chicken. You don't have to add chili, but if you're really fussy on chili, just sprinkle it on. And honestly, you want to eat this chicken forever. It's fried, and then it's succulent. Because once you overcook it, you have destroyed all the nutrients and the minerals in it. But what we have done today, because if we were to put it in the oven, the chicken will have come out very dry. And meaning that we don't have any nutrients whatsoever left in it. So I'm just done. I just want the chicken, the onions to brown, and it's okay now. I'm just taking it out.
And I'll just cover that and we'll leave it for 10 minutes. And we'll be ready.
So here we go. And you can see the oil in it. You think I fry it in oil, but it's to tell you that you can do without oil. And the amazing thing is research, according to research, 1 teaspoon of oil equals 176 calories. So you can imagine if you think you're frying egg in the morning, a bit of oil, do something in the afternoon and dinner, and by the time you add it daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, and you'll keep going to the gym, but then you're thinking you're not really losing much weight. It's because of the way you're cooking. So you see, this chicken, we haven't fried it in oil. The oil in the chicken is just enough for it. Thank you.
So,
the last conference.
This is the pounded yam and egusi dish.